The woman had just gone to dye her hair. Unexpectedly, her head swelled up like this. Her entire head was stuck in the dryer and couldn't be pulled out. The paramedic, after examination, found that the woman was allergic to the hair dye, which caused the swelling. The woman was terrified, asked the firefighters to get her out quickly, saying she had a really big audition that afternoon. The captain decided to cut it open with a power saw. They then made sure the woman was well protected before proceeding to cut with the saw. Soon they cut open the casing. Next, the team carefully removed the device. This startled everyone present. Afterwards, the team sent the woman to the hospital.
I don't think she's getting that part.
The girl said her mom was in danger. Paramedics quickly entered the house to check. The girl said her mom was in the basement. She tried to go down to save her, but couldn't breathe down there. They arrived at the entrance and saw her mom lying unconscious on the floor. Guessed that the dryer's exhaust pipe might have broken. The entire basement could now be filled with carbon monoxide. They took a deep breath and rushed down the stairs. Just as they were about to carry the woman upstairs, Stella noticed chlorine and ammonia in a bucket with steam coming out of it. It was a toxic gas and they had to leave immediately. They rushed back upstairs, sealed the basement door with tape, and quickly called hazmat. They checked the woman's pulse and found it very weak. They rinsed her eyes with clean water. Soon the woman regained consciousness. Seeing her mom was okay, the girl finally breathed a sigh of relief. Hazmat arrived quickly, ventilated the house, and after questioning they learned that the woman had accidentally mixed chlorine and ammonia. This caused the incident as chlorine and ammonia produce chloramine-releasing toxic gas. If inhaled, it could lead to respiratory distress or even cardiac arrest. The woman was lucky to have survived. Paramedics were called out. They arrived at a restaurant. The manager said a marriage proposal went wrong. A man upset explained that he had slipped the ring into his girlfriend's champagne glass and she swallowed it. The girl was in distress and bleeding. Using a stethoscope, they discovered the ring was in her trachea and she was also losing consciousness. They had to attempt to remove the ring on the spot.
I'm so sorry, Alana. I just wanted this to be a surprise.
Emily carefully searched the girl's throat.
Okay, I see it.
It's a beautiful ring.
Finally, the ring was retrieved. The girl regained consciousness. Everyone at the scene breathed a sigh of relief. There was a car accident on the street. A red car had driven onto some shopping carts. The firefighters were shocked by the scene. Casey got closer and noticed the driver seemed in shock. The airbag hadn't deployed and she had likely suffered a concussion from hitting the steering wheel. They tried to wake the woman, but she didn't respond. Nearby, her husband Scott was visibly angry. Just then, the driver named Holly spoke up saying, "A shopping cart was rolling by itself. I turned the wheel and my foot got stuck." The firefighters first rescued Scott from above, but as soon as he was out, he tore off the seat collar. The paramedics urged him to keep it on, but Scott insisted he didn't need it. Meanwhile, Casey prepared to rescue Holly. While helping her, he noticed bruises on her neck, suggesting there might be more to the story. He asked Holly if she needed help, but she said no. Scott then declared they wouldn't go to the hospital, citing concerns over medical expenses. At the same time, paramedic Dawson also noticed bruises on Holly. They strongly advised Holly to go to the hospital for a checkup, but Scott immediately refused, realizing they needed another approach. Casey distracted Scott by discussing car repairs. While they talked, the ambulance drove Holly to the hospital. However, Scott soon arrived at the hospital demanding to take Holly home. The doctor suggested she stay for observation, and Dawson tried to stop him, but they were told they had no authority to keep her unless Holly explicitly asked for help. To everyone's surprise, Holly said she was fine and just wanted to go home with her husband. It was clear her words didn't match her true feelings. Helplessly, they watched Scott take his wife away. Later, Casey couldn't shake the feeling something was wrong. The next day, he went to Holly's house, but she turned him away saying her husband was home. Disappointed, Casey decided to step back. That same night, Holly's house suddenly caught fire. When the firefighters arrived, the fire had already spread to the second floor. They rushed inside to search for survivors. As the flames grew, they forced open a door and found Scott badly injured on the floor. Meanwhile, Casey saw Holly sitting calmly on the living room sofa, holding a blood-stained baseball bat. When she heard Scott had been rescued, Holly seemed very disappointed. It turned out she had endured years of domestic abuse from her husband. The car accident was her deliberate attempt to harm him, but he only suffered minor injuries. That night, she decided she couldn't endure it any longer and planned to die with him. Casey promised to do everything he could to help her escape her suffering, believing it wouldn't be long before Scott faced the punishment he deserved. Paramedics arrived at an apartment. A man anxiously said that his buddy Pete might have had a heart attack and collapsed on the floor. Just moments ago, they were moving furniture when Pete dropped his end and fainted. Sylvie peeked through the gap and saw Pete lying motionless on the floor inside, but the wardrobe was stuck in the doorway. They tried to move it, but it was wedged it tightly to budge. Mackie suggested calling for backup, but there wasn't enough time. Sylvie ran to the stairwell, broke the glass, and grabbed an axe. Seeing Sylvie return with the axe, the man had a bad feeling. The wardrobe was a keepsake from his grandmother, and he was very reluctant to lose it. But there was no other way. Sylvie quickly broke a large hole in the wardrobe, crawled through it, and entered the room. She told Mackie to bring the jump bag and to enlarge the hole to make it easier to move in and out. The man wasn't happy about it, but Mackie swung the axe at the wardrobe without hesitation. Meanwhile, Sylvie found that Pete had no pulse. After using a defibrillator, Pete's pulse was restored. On the other side, Mackie had successfully removed the wardrobe from the doorway and quickly brought in a gurney. Seeing his beloved wardrobe in pieces, the man felt deeply upset.
The man had just gone to the preschool to pick up his child, but halfway there he was stopped by the cops, especially when the cop saw the empty safety seat in the back. Instantly his hand went to his gun holster. It turned out that at that moment the man's child was being held hostage, hiding in the trunk. The man was extremely nervous at that moment. The cop asked him to open the trunk to check, but the man shook his head repeatedly. At that moment the cop immediately sensed something was wrong, especially with the messy snacks in the back seat. He concluded that something must be going on. Then he pointed to the trunk with his finger and silently asked if the child was inside. The man nodded. If they were to open the trunk now, the child inside would definitely be in danger. Without further thought, the cop hastily wrote something on a piece of paper and handed it to the man. Then he let him go directly. His colleague was very puzzled.
You let him go?
Only way to save that kid.
Soon the man stopped the car, telling the fugitive that it was safe here. After handing over the car key, the man successfully brought the child out. As soon as the fugitive closed the trunk, he was surrounded by many cops. It turned out that the cop had instructed the man to drive to the underground garage of the police station, letting the fugitive walk right into their hands.
Sir? Clear.
Wait! I was asleep!
Oh, I'm so sorry.
This hospital fell victim to a hacker attack. All computer systems were paralyzed. Just as Dr. Bailey was bewildered, a line of text on the computer screen suddenly plunged the hospital into crisis.
Currently, we control your hospital. We own your servers.
Oh, man.
As the information spread, all doctors felt an imminent threat.
Gain access, which only we have.
You will need to pay us exactly 4,932 Bitcoin.
Simultaneously, all monitoring devices in the hospital sounded alarms for cardiac arrest. This terrified the doctors.
Go, you go.
And amidst the chaotic rescue efforts, and in turn made a significant mistake.
Wait!
The patient was just asleep, but the intern almost electrocuted him.
What the hell is happening?
The complete failure of medical equipment instantly plunged the modern hospital into paralysis. Not only could patient records not be accessed, but doctors also had no knowledge of what medications the patients had taken, let alone the subsequent treatment. For critically ill patients, this undoubtedly accelerated their process of dying. Until the arrival of a group of FBI agents, the doctors thought they saw hope. However, the FBI agents, to their surprise, made no progress at all. Dr. Weber couldn't understand. Why not just pay the hacker a mere $5,000? Why make it so complicated? However, Dr. Weber suddenly became bewildered.
5,000 Bitcoin. It's virtual money. Right now, that translates to roughly $20 million.
20 what?
When he realized that even for a hospital, this was not a small amount of money.
Give my guys time to work.
Even if the doctors were patient and waiting, the hackers on the other side were not. Unable to receive the money, they directly caused a major power outage for the hospital. The hospital plunged into darkness.
Damn it.
And even though emergency power was activated, it couldn't sustain for long. At this moment, Dr. Bailey could no longer bear it. Every second delayed could mean one more patient facing death. Compared to paying a ransom of $20 million, she cared more about the lives of the patients, yet she faced an immediate rejection from the FBI agent. At this point, the FBI agent had to reveal the truth. They weren't incapable of decryption. They wanted to use this opportunity to trace the hackers and dismantle their organization to prevent more hospitals from being blackmailed. Upon learning the truth, Dr. Bailey was thoroughly enraged. She couldn't care less about whether other hospitals were being extorted. She only knew his patients were in critical condition. Risking punishment afterward, she immediately decided to pay the hackers.